Thank you so much for joining us on this hour and this edition of Chris 6 Sunrise.
Yes, it's Friday, May 30th. Here's a look at what stories we're covering this hour.
I'm Tony Jaramillo. After months of coverage on Upbring, you'll hear from Upbring's local officials about the status of the Head Start program.
How many of your streets look like this? I'm Stephanie Molina in Robstown, where people here and other neighborhoods might see a difference in a couple of months.
A woman who's lived in Fremont for 8 decades is the town's new mayor. I'm Melissa Trevino, here learning what lies ahead for Dolly Perez and her little town.
Hey, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us on this edition of Chris 6 Sunrise, and we're waking up with the Hoffmans. I'm Brian Hoffman.
And I'm Michelle Hoffman. You know what? We are so happy to be here with you guys, and we finally made it to Friday, right?
Yeah, Friday. You know what we haven't done for a while? Doing the Friday dance.
We haven't done the Friday dance.
You know what? Let's bring in Julia Kuwaiti. Dance off, Julia. Come on.
I just
come
like,
on.
Hands
she's
in the
in
air.
no mood. Oh, there it is. Yes. Good morning.
I love it.
All right. Well,
This got to wake you up.
it woke me up a little bit, so thank you guys. But I think we could also even do this dance too, maybe, that we're looking at some great driving conditions heading out the door this morning. We're right now looking at our drive heading from, heading from Portland down to the Harbor Bridge right now. You're looking at easy driving conditions right now. Y'all are distracting me. And then heading towards downtown, moving from Ocean Drive down to SVID in Saratoga. Again, looking at easy driving conditions right now. Not looking at any bit of heavy traffic flow or congestion. So heading out the door, if you're heading on the Harbor Bridge or moving towards any of these 3 roadways, again, no traffic issues to be concerned about right now. Heading on over to Flower Bluff, slightly different story. You can look at a little bit more medium speed happening throughout portions of Waldron Road and maybe one small area on Flower Bluff Drive. And then once you approach the gate at NAS Corpus Christi, looking at a bit of a heavier slowdown with maybe a couple more cars that are lining up right now. And then moving on over towards the JFK Causeway going to and from the island. Again, looking at very easy driving conditions this morning. So heading out the door looks to be very easy weather-wise and traffic-wise, but we are looking at a chance to see some shower activity coming into the forecast later on this evening, and that's going to extend towards your weekend. A lot of details on the full forecast coming up.
Yes, and we have to pay attention because it's going to be a big weekend starting today for Coastal Bend seniors. Ceremonies will take place over the next 2 days, and while families prepare for the big day, graduation day, city officials are too. So all 6 graduations are at the American Bank Center, 3 today and 3 tomorrow. Corpus Christi Police Department says they're ready for high traffic and want to ensure the community knows there will be officers there to help them. Neighbors are advised to be patient, and families should plan on arriving early to cheer on their graduate. Now here's a look at graduation schedules. Miller High School's graduation is today at 10 a.m. Moody High School's graduation is at 2, and Carroll will finish the day with a ceremony at 6. On Saturday, graduation starts at 10 a.m. for Ray High School, followed by King High School at 2, and Veterans Memorial High School seniors graduate at 6 p.m. Again, all ceremonies are being held at the American Bank Center Arena.
I'm Tony Jaramillo, your neighborhood news reporter on the West Side. I've been following the story about the Head Start program for nearly a year, and today we finally hear from Upbring's local personnel. Head Start is a free program that helps children from low-income families get ready for school. Upbring took over the local program from the Nueces County Community Action Agency late last year, but currently has only 4 of 14 locations open. Officials say delays stem from building conditions that didn't meet their safety standards after being awarded the grant in January. 2 more locations are set to open on June 2nd. While Upbring officials couldn't give me an exact date for the opening of the 8 other Head Start locations, they tell me the goal is to have them open by the end of the year. On the West Side, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Tony Jaramillo, Chris 6 News.
Millions of dollars to fix roads. I'm Stephanie Molina, your neighborhood news reporter in Robstown. This road is just one of what city leaders expect to make improvements on. I'm breaking down what this means.
Now, the city of Robstown has received a $6.7 million grant from the Texas General Land Office. The money will fund street and drainage system improvements. The city had applied for the grant in 2022 and was just recently awarded. Streets in the Casablanca area will be a part of this project along with others. Perkins and Elizabeth Street will get top priority.
Robstown Mayor Petey Martinez says he hopes repairs will be in the next few months, but he's not yet sure when all repairs will be done. In Robstown, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Stephanie Molina, Chris 6 News.
I'm Melissa Trevino, your neighborhood news reporter in Fremont for Dolly Perez. She says age is just a number, and she's proud of the number 81. That's how old she is. As of May 13th, Dolly Perez is the new mayor of Fremont and says the job completes a full circle for her. Dolly Perez has been in Fremont a long time. The rural community is where she was born and raised. She worked as a city secretary before retiring. Last year, Dolly decided to run for mayor. After all, her dad served on the city council in 1953. Mayor Dolly Perez told me she believes her age and knowledge of the city benefit the town and its people.
Hey there, good morning. Happy Friday. Heading out the door, you're going to be in for some cloudy conditions all across the coastal bend, at least in our skies right now. Rain chances will be coming in towards the forecast later on today. That will extend towards your upcoming Saturday. And after that, we're looking at some dry heat along with some increase in our heat danger ahead for next week. But let's go ahead and get into all those nitty-gritty details right now. First, starting off with a look at your conditions over in your neighborhood. Here in Corpus Christi, waking up to a temperature of 76 degrees, 77 over in Beeville, 81 in Port Aransas, 80 over in Rockport, 76 degrees is your temperature over in Alice. All of us are still seeing our winds coming from the southeast, pretty light and variable for the most part, barely reaching anywhere near 10 miles an hour across our neighborhoods here in the coastal bend. All of us are looking at mostly cloudy skies, not really much for any sunshine as we start to approach sunrise over the next few moments. So again, we'll be looking at an extended period of mostly cloudy conditions ahead for us on this Friday. It won't be like yesterday where we saw pockets of sunshine and then mostly sunny skies by the afternoon. That's just not going to be the case for us today, thanks to this added bit of moisture that's also reflected on our dew point values well above towards that oppressive range, meaning that stepping out the door, you're going to feel that heavy weighted blanket feeling of that moisture and humidity in our area. Now, looking at our temperatures, those are going to somewhat reflect that as we increase towards the lower 80s over the course of our morning, heading towards this afternoon towards the upper 80s and low 90s by 1 o'clock. And we'll also see a gradual slow increase in our wind speeds going upwards nearby 10 miles an hour as we start to approach the afternoon too. And by 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we'll be reaching our afternoon high temperature nearby 90 to 91 degrees over our afternoon. But again, you can see we're not going to be looking at much of any sunshine over the course of our afternoon or at all on this Friday. Maybe a couple few pockets here and there, but mostly sunny, or excuse me, mostly cloudy rather, conditions that will be in store for our skies for this afternoon. Rain chances will be coming towards the area over this afternoon too. Stray at best, maybe a couple isolated showers will be possible as we get closer towards our evening hours. That's going to extend towards the overnight on your Saturday, and all this is going to be due towards the increase of that moisture that you can see with more hues of green coming towards our map here by this afternoon. That's going to extend towards your Saturday afternoon too, so that's why we'll be looking at even a better chance of seeing some isolated showers, maybe a couple of rumbles of thunder coming to the forecast ahead for this upcoming weekend. But then going towards your Sunday, we'll be looking at drier conditions returning back to the area, so that's going to kind of wick away any of our last remaining rain chances ahead for us today and for your Saturday. And then next week at that point, we'll be looking at an increase of heat danger coming back to the forecast. So that'll be our main concern ahead for next week, with those increase of temperatures reaching towards the lower 90s. With feel like temperatures, they'll be well towards the triple digits.
I'm Joe St. George in Washington. President Trump says he wants to change up Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. So how might that impact the housing market? We go in depth next.
Welcome back, folks. President Trump continues to push for change in Washington, and that includes the possibility of new guidelines and operating procedures for Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, government enterprises that are involved in around 70% of the country's mortgages. So what changes could be coming, and how might they impact the housing market? Scripps News Group's Joe St. George reports.
For millions of Americans, buying a home right now isn't easy, and any change in the mortgage market has the potential to impact you or a loved one. So with President Trump's desire to change up Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac in the future, we were wondering, how might that impact the housing market going forward? Let's start by explaining what exactly Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac do. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac stand for the Federal National Mortgage Association and the Federal Home Loan Mortgage Corporation, respectively. Both are known as government-sponsored enterprises and do basically the same thing. Fannie Mae is the older of the two and began in 1938 by President Roosevelt. Its mission, in part, has always been to get banks to offer more home loans on favorable terms to more Americans. The way it works is, let's say you want to get a mortgage from a bank. The bank gives you a list of qualifications and then gives you a mortgage if you meet them. You can then buy your home. But then the bank often sells your mortgage to Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac, creating more opportunity for the bank to offer more mortgages. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac then take your mortgage, combine it with other mortgages, and sell it as a product to investors who like it because the U.S. government is involved.
If Fannie and Freddie were to be, kind of dismantled, would definitely be some short-term pain for home buyers.
Stephen Glick is the director of mortgage sales at Home Abroad Loans and says if Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac didn't exist, buying a home might be financially harder. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac haven't had a perfect history, though. In 2008, during the housing crisis, both needed a government bailout after years of taking on high-risk loans. President George W. Bush placed them in a government conservatorship as a result, where they have remained. But now President Trump is considering a change, posting on social media, "I am working on taking these amazing companies public, but I want to be clear the U.S. government will keep its implicit guarantees." Glick says Fannie and Freddie could probably make more money if the president changes the status quo, but there is a risk.
There's tons of money to be made, and it's probably restricted a little bit today in terms of overall profitability. My fear is really that customers are going to be susceptible to higher fees.
Democrats appear eager to fight the Trump White House on this, with Senator Chuck Schumer telling the Scripps News Group in a statement that privatizing Fannie and Freddie will make buying a home more expensive. Glick says whatever change occurs, the details will matter.
It's paramount more than ever to self-educate.
Joe St. George, Scripps News Group, Washington.
Hey there, good morning, happy Friday. So heading out the door, you're going to be in for a view much like what you're seeing behind me right now. Looking at our Whataburger sky cam pointed over towards downtown Corpus Christi, looking at mostly cloudy, skies right now that will extend throughout the course of our Friday. Not going to make for any sunshine really throughout our day. We're going to be expecting this increase of moisture is going to lead towards those extra clouds in our skies, along with the increase of our feel-like temperatures getting well towards those triple digits by the time we head towards this afternoon. And this will also contribute towards our rain chances that are going to be coming in the area as we look ahead towards this upcoming afternoon to evening hours, and then as we look ahead towards your Saturday. But for today, we'll be looking at our temperatures still reaching towards those lower 90s, even though we will be under those mostly cloudy skies. Again, the chance for some shower activity ahead late tonight into our overnight hours. And again, looking at an increase in our feel-like temperatures over the course of our afternoon, reaching towards the low 90s by 11 o'clock, and then heading towards this afternoon, reaching those upper 90s for those feel-like temperatures. Other locations can easily see their feel-like temperatures reaching towards the triple digits later on this afternoon. Now for our rain chances, those will be slim, but they will be a bit more likely ahead for us today compared to yesterday, just because of that extra dose of moisture that's pushing its way to the coastal bend. So looking ahead towards this afternoon to the early evening hours and overnight, we'll have a bit of an increase of our rain chances ahead from stray to isolated across the area. Really looking best chances to be overnight towards your Saturday, and then again as look ahead towards your Saturday afternoon. And this is all going to be due towards that moisture increasing across the area that's going to extend across especially our coastal portions of the coastal bend, as you can note with those darker hues of green showing where that moisture is really going to be sitting. It's going to continue as we look ahead towards your Saturday afternoon, and then after that looking towards your Sunday, look at more yellow hues coming to the map, noting how drier air will begin to settle on in, kind of wicking away our rain chances that will be at that point pretty much over, and we won't be looking at significant rain chances really returning to the forecast much for at all next week. We'll be actually kind of changing our story, not really talking about our rain chances, looking at an increase towards heat danger coming into the area ahead for next week. But what does all this mean for your weekend forecast, specifically for Beach to Bay? You'll be looking at cloudy skies ahead for your Saturday morning. That's going to extend throughout the morning morning hours. Temperatures increasing towards the upper 70s to low 80s. Feel like temperatures though along the morning hours though will be well towards the 80s across the area with some light winds coming in from the northeast. So conditions are going to be pretty favorable, not too uncomfortable for your beach to bay if you're going to be heading out and participating in that. Looking at your 7-day forecast, again, looking at those rain chances beginning to populate ahead for us late tonight, lingering on over to the overnight hours on your Saturday. Showers will still be possible over the course of your afternoon on your Saturday before you dry out beginning on Sunday. And then story's going to change. No longer looking at rain chances, but an increase in heat danger next week.
He took the stage in Washington, D.C. and spelled his way into the top 20 at the Scripps National Spelling Bee. I'm Alexis Scott near the Bay Area, looking at how one 8th grader made Corpus Christi proud.
Welcome back, folks. It is that time once again. I am tracking those gas prices both nationally and right here in the Coastal Bend for you, saving you that extra little bit of scratch, making your dollar go even further. Let's start out with the national prices. According to Gas Buddy, national average is $3.15. That's actually up 2 cents since Monday. What about the Lone Star State? Well, we're sitting at $2.72. That's up by 1 cent since Monday. But hey, all around the Coastal Bend, we're actually doing so much better. Some places are even seeing 20 to 30 cent decreases. So here in Corpus Christi, third and second place are actually tied, $2.33. That's at the Exxon on Ayers and Gullahar, as well as the Valero on Ayers. Checking in on first place, though, Sunco on Port Avenue. That is looking terrific right now, $2.31. But hey, my Portland friends have it even cheaper, so it might be worth taking the trip across the bridge. $2.24. That's the cheapest in the area that I've found. That is at the Murphy USA, right there next to the Walmart, as well as the Texan on Buddy Graham. So checking out the island prices, it's looking like the cheapest ones are at two different locations. It's both of the Valeros on Whitecap, $2.64 for that. As always, if you can find cheaper prices anywhere, maybe stop and fill up. Now that you have filled up, though, let's check out the traffic.
All right, now taking it outside, looking at our First Community Bank Skycam atop the USS Lexington. You can see a mix of some clouds out there, some hints of that sunrise beginning to happen over, kind of basking a little bit on both of those harbor bridges. On the one that's still currently in use, our Old Harbor Bridge, we can see traffic flows moving pretty well across the area there. Let's go and take a look now at our traffic flow maps to get a better idea we can expect on other roadways across the region. Right now, taking a look at, again, you can see things are moving well over on the Harbor Bridge heading to and from Portland. Moving now towards downtown, all clear on Ocean Drive down to SPID as well as in Saratoga with no traffic issues right now on those three roadways. Moving on over to Flower Bluff, you can see it's beginning to get a little bit more busy, more heavier congestion throughout portions of Waldron Road and Flower Bluff Drive. And as you start to approach the gate NAS Corpus Christi, expect a bit of a median speed with a little bit of a line maybe heading in towards that area. And then heading on to the JFK Causeway going to and from the island, looking at easy driving conditions this morning on this Friday. That's it for Trapsport. The details of your forecast coming up.
Don't want your kids to be playing video games all summer long? I'll share a few ideas on how to keep the kids engaged this summer through the city's Parks and Rec.
Now, weather on the 6s.
Good morning, happy Friday, and welcome back. Right now we're taking a live look outside from Soupy's Pier, our Skycam sponsored by CCAC. We can see a mix of those clouds, hints of that sunrise now happening for us this morning. We'll be looking at mostly cloudy conditions across the Coastal Bend, maybe a couple pockets of sunshine here and there over the course of our morning and over this afternoon. Slightly different picture from yesterday because we did see more mostly sunny conditions as we headed towards the afternoon yesterday. Looking at maybe a little bit extra dose of cloud coverage ahead for us on this Friday, though. Right now, let's go and take a look at our current conditions, though, across the Coastal Bend this morning. Corpus Christi waking up to a temperature of 76 degrees, 77 over in Beeville, 81 in Port Aransas, 80 in Rockport, and 76 degrees your temperature over in Alice. All of us are looking at fairly light and calm winds across the Coastal Bend coming in from the southeast, so wind speed isn't going to be much of a factor in our forecast today, but what is going to be is those wind directions, again, coming in from the southeast, means that extra moisture, humidity, that's going to add towards why we're going to be looking at extra cloud cover in the forecast along with our rain chances that will be increasing ahead for us later on today. Now, looking at our skies, again, clouds will be a mainstay and a staple in our forecast today, this morning, and as we head towards this afternoon. But we will still see our temperatures increase over the course of our day, reaching those lower 80s by 9, 10 o'clock this morning, by midday and this afternoon, reaching those upper 80s to lower 90s. We'll also again see some small glimpses of some sunshine that hopefully will make up for those cloudy start that we're having this morning here in the coastal bend. We'll see again temperatures reaching those lower 90s, closer towards our afternoon high temperature this afternoon, and wind speeds pick up ever so slightly, again closer to around 9, 10 miles an hour by this afternoon and this evening. Rain chances are also going to increase ahead for us later on this evening to the overnight hours. That's also tied towards our southeasterly winds and that moisture increase that we're seeing across the coastal bend. So we'll see, again, it's not looking super likely. Everyone's not going to see those showers that do kind of linger and pop on in. It'll happen in a stray and maybe a bit of an isolated nature later on this evening to the overnight hours on your Saturday. And we'll also see more rain chances ahead for us by the time you look ahead towards your Saturday afternoon. Again, all tied to that moisture that we're going to see pluming across the coastal bend this afternoon. You can see a little bit more heavier pockets nearby the Victoria Sea Drift area, but heavier tones of green across the coastal bend for us today on Friday. Looking ahead towards your Saturday, still going to linger on in with those heavier notes of green maybe throughout southern portions of the coastal bend by your Saturday afternoon. But then after that, we'll be looking at drier air starting to replace that ahead for us on our Sunday. That's going to lead towards less rainfall, no rainfall coming into the forecast ahead for your Sunday. And then it's going to extend to the early part of next week, looking at heat danger becoming more of a focus in our forecast rather than rainfall. Now looking at your weekend forecast, again, going to see those temperatures decrease a bit, going towards those upper 80s, then back towards those lower 90s by the time we get towards your Sunday. Looking at mostly sunny conditions returning back to the area. Now for that all-important beach to bay forecast, for those folks who will be participating, you'll be starting your run looking at mostly cloudy conditions across the area, temperatures reaching the upper 70s to low 80s. Feels like temperatures, though, will still be reaching, though, into the 80s across the course of the morning, so you'll still be expecting a bit of a humid run ahead for you on your Saturday. But again, rainfall is going to end as we look ahead towards your Sunday, and we'll be looking at heat danger being an issue all ahead next week.
Well, thank you so much, Julia. So the work week is almost over, and we have a look at everything going on around town coming up in this week's Coastal Bend Weekend.
Now, say hello to your neighbors. This is your Chris 6 News Sunrise Shoutouts.
Hello, Chris 6 Sunrise team. I'm Mike Tamez from the Robstown neighborhood, and I want to wish all my neighbors a great morning across Coastal Bend.
Hey, good morning, Chief Tamez. Thank you so much for doing what you do. We hope you also have a great day and a great weekend. Now, folks, if you want to send us your own shout-out video, go ahead and scan the QR code you see right there on your screen, or go to our website, christv.com.
Now, the local events and fun things to do. It's Coastal Bend Weekend with the Hoffmans.
Craving a little adventure without leaving town? Well, this Coastal Bend Weekend is serving up a world of experiences.
From bold bites and cultural delights, family-friendly fun that is anything but ordinary, we've got you covered in this week's Coastal Bend Weekend. We'll start on the city's south side.
Bo Korean Barbecue is turning up the flavor with a full-on Korean festival.
You'll get to experience authentic eats, vibrant traditions, and a chance to spice up your weekend.
You might even recognize a few Squid Games and win prizes. No Netflix subscription required.
There's also plenty for the whole family, too, including a petting zoo and bounce house.
And folks, if you really want to feel festive, slip into a traditional hanbok and strike a pose.
All the fun is going to be happening over at Bo Korean Barbecue. They have a photo booth, some authentic duds, so you can take home some photo memories. That address is 6042 SPID. It's happening Sunday from 12 to 4.
Now, even though this is the final weekend of Asian American and Pacific Islander Heritage Month, the Asian Museum is a great place to explore AAPI cultures all year long.
This weekend, you can dive into Asian art with activities like yakimono, a Japanese ceramics painting workshop. And if you have a sweet tooth, don't miss the taiyaki making class.
Taiyaki are those fun fish-shaped Japanese pastries filled with sweet goodness. Registration is just $20 per person, but space is limited, so don't wait.
After being postponed for the air show, the Beach to Bay Relay is back and happening this Saturday.
Runners will pass the baton through a 6-leg race that stretches from the beach to the bay.
It's too late to sign up now, but whether you're racing or just cheering on a team, the celebration doesn't stop at the finish line.
Check out a full list of after-party events and local specials in the online version of this story.
Downtown Corpus Christi is about to get a lot more colorful.
This Sunday marks the official kickoff of the week-long mural festival.
It all starts at 10 a.m. with the installation of the first mural on North Chaparral Street.
You can come out and watch art come to life.
And hey, folks, if you want to tailor your weekend plans even more, you can head to our website, christv.com.
I'm impressed. And of course, if you want to see your event featured on a future Coastal Bend Weekend segment, make sure you carve out some time to send us a message.
Hey there, good morning on Happy Friday. So we'll be expecting mostly cloudy conditions in our skies for us on this Friday as we head towards our upcoming weekend. We'll be looking at our temperatures gradually increasing, getting towards those 80s by 9 o'clock this morning, then heading towards the 90s over the course of our afternoon. Wind speeds will be very light all throughout the day today, barely making it to around 10 mile an hour wind speeds for us over the course of our Friday. Now, we are expecting rain chances to begin to increase ever so slightly ahead for us later on this evening, lingering on to the overnight hours, heading towards your upcoming Saturday. More shower activity will be expected during the afternoon hours on Saturday, so we'll see slightly cooler temperatures making it towards the upper 80s. But after that, drier air will begin to settle on in. Moisture will still be a part of our picture, so that moisture is not going to turn to rain chances ahead for next week. We'll be actually looking at that moisture then becoming an issue as it relates towards heat danger and an increase in our feel-like temperatures for next week. So we'll be looking at more sunny conditions ahead for us, temperatures reaching towards those lower 90s, maybe approaching the mid 90s by the end of our next week. And again, looking at an increase of heat danger and heat risk becoming an issue.
From Chris 6, this is 20 minutes of non-stop news.
Welcome back, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in to our 20 minutes of nonstop news with the Hoffmans. I'm Brian Hoffman.
And I'm Michelle Hoffman. We'll check in with meteorologist Julia Quady in just a bit. But first, here's your neighborhood check-in.
I'm Tony Hadamio, your neighborhood news reporter on the West Side. I've been following the story about the Head Start program for nearly a year. And today we finally hear from Upbring's local personnel. Head Start is a free program that helps children from low-income families get ready for school. Upbring took over the local program from the Nueces County Community Action Agency late last year, but currently has only 4 of 14 locations open. Officials say delays stem from building conditions that didn't meet their safety standards after being awarded the grant in January. 2 more locations are set to open on June 2nd. While Upbring officials couldn't give me an exact date for the opening of the 8 other Head Start locations, they tell me the goal is to have them open by the end of the year. On the West Side, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Tony Hadamio, Chris 6 News.
Millions of dollars to fix roads. I'm Stephanie Molina, your neighborhood news reporter in Robstown. This road is just one of what city leaders expect to make improvements on. I'm breaking down what this means.
Now, the city of Robstown has received a $6.7 million grant from the Texas General Land Office. The money will fund street and drainage system improvements. The city had applied for the grant in 2022 and was just recently awarded. Streets in the Casablanca area will be a part of this project along with others. Perkins and Elizabeth Street will get top priority.
Robstown Mayor Petey Martinez says he hopes repairs will be in the next few months, but he's not yet sure when all repairs will be done. In Robstown, I'm your neighborhood news reporter, Stephanie Molina, Chris 6 News.
I'm Melissa Trevino, your neighborhood news reporter in Fremont for Dolly Perez. She says age is just a number, and she's proud of the number 81. That's how old she is. As of May 13th, Dolly Perez is the new mayor of Fremont and says the job completes a full circle for her. Dolly Perez has been in Fremont a long time. The rural community is where she was born and raised. She worked as a city secretary before retiring. Last year, Dolly decided to run for mayor. After all, her dad served on the city council in 1953. Mayor Dolly Perez told me she believes her age and knowledge of the city benefit the town and its people.
One Corpus Christi 8th grader made it to the nation's capital to compete in the Scripps National Spelling Bee.
Baker Middle School's Isaac Cancio took the stage in Washington, D.C. to compete among the country's best young spellers. He made it all the way to the 9th round, finishing in 20th place out of hundreds of students nationwide. Only one word stood between him and a shot at the championship, but his school says he's already a winner. Hundreds of students cheered him on inside the classroom and throughout the halls. Many are calling him inspiring. As he prepares to come back home, Isaac says he's taking it all in and feeling grateful for everyone who helped him get there.
Here's an idea to get the kids to ditch the phone this summer. 2 words: summer programs. I'm Michaela Chavez, your Sunrise Neighborhood News reporter in the Bay Area. The city's Parks and Rec are offering lots of programs for kids this summer, but they come at a cost. The question I ask parents is, are they worth it?
I enjoyed it. I mean, it was a good pastime for the summer.
During her childhood, Shadiman Leggett loved being in summer programs. Now, she's a working mom.
They're not old enough to be at home by themselves, and I work Monday through Friday, so they need somewhere to be, and someone needs to be watching them at all times.
That's why she's enrolling her daughters.
I feel like it's worth it.
Despite the costs where they live.
I mean, $100 a month, and then plus the fee, and then they need money to spend, especially if they're going on field trips and things like that.
Depending on what program you choose, those costs will vary.
We have every opportunity for every type of kid.
The After Hour Kid Power Summer Camp is the most expensive at $99 a week per child. Spark, a similar camp, is 1/3 of that cost for half the time. Scholarships are also available for families through the Parks and Rec website.
Free money is always the best money, so if you can just fill out an application and go ahead and get the scholarship for it, that's the best way to go, especially to save just a little bit of money.
Despite some of these concerns, City Parks and Rec Director Robert Dodd says it hasn't affected signups so far.
The sign-up is pretty consistent right now with past years.
Each camp has its own age group, as young as 5 and as old as 16. Some are geared towards sports.
The summertime's an opportunity for kids to improve their skills.
Others towards learning a new skill.
You know, somebody that might be interested in being a lifeguard later on, we have our junior lifeguard camps.
All of them helping kids grow personally, academically, physically, and socially.
Anytime we can keep kids busy and engaged during the summer, I think we're successful with what we do.
Registration is still open. Some of these camps will start as early as Monday, June 2nd. In the Bay Area, I'm your Sunrise Neighborhood News reporter Michaela Chavez, Chris 6 Sunrise.
Hey, good morning. Happy Friday. Heading out the door, you're going to be greeted by some mostly cloudy skies right now this morning across the coastal bend. And unlike yesterday where we saw some more sunshine ahead for the afternoon, today those clouds are going to be a staple throughout our Friday, and maybe even some rain chances coming ahead for us later on this evening, heading towards your Saturday too. Right now it's going to take it in this view, looking at our Whataburger sky cam over Whataburger Field. So you can see over the Harbor Bridge, looking at those mostly cloudy skies. Not going to see too much of that sunrise right now happening over the area. And in fact, again, mostly cloudy conditions are going to be a staple in our forecast today, and we'll still see our temperatures still reach towards the lower 90s with feel like temperatures nearing the triple digits across the area. We'll also again see a chance to see some shower activity later on this afternoon, mainly the late afternoon hours to early evening. That will extend towards the overnight on your Saturday. Now, on the course of that heat, we'll be looking at again our feel like temperatures reaching towards the upper 90s later on this afternoon. Around 1 and 2 o'clock this afternoon, we'll be reaching that near triple digit range. So again, even under mostly cloudy skies, that heat is still going to be felt across the region here in the coastal bend. Now, as it relates towards our rain chances, those will be spotty and stray at best, maybe isolated as we head towards the overnight hours on your Saturday. But again, rain chances will still be there just because of that extra plume of moisture that is now pushing into the coastal bend. That's going to extend towards your Saturday afternoon. Right now, looking at later on tonight here on this Friday, you can see those darker plumes of moisture starting to pop on in across the coastal bend. Bend, and that's what's going to lead towards our rain chances that will be slim but still there ahead for us later on tonight. Looking ahead towards your Saturday afternoon, again, can still see those darker hues, noting that moisture increase that's still hanging around across our coastal neighborhoods and throughout portions of inland areas in the coastal bend on your Saturday afternoon. But thereafter, we'll be looking at drier air beginning to extend in from the north, coming in across, sweeping the coastal bend, and that's going to mean our rain chances will be at that point over, and we'll be looking at an increase of more heat. Still, humidity will still be a part of the picture, but that humidity will then be tied towards an increase of heat danger, not really so much rain chances ahead for next week. So again, rain chances really just increasing ahead for us late this afternoon, heading towards our evening hours, extending towards at least your Saturday afternoon before we dry out. So what does this all mean for your beach to bay forecast? Well, you'll be looking at maybe a slight chance to see some passing showers here and there, but looking at mostly cloudy conditions under some temperatures that will be mostly towards the upper 70s to low 80s, but throughout the entire course of the morning, you'll still be having those feel-like temperatures in towards the 80s, starting out into low 80s and increasing towards the upper 80s as you start to approach midday. So fairly comfortable conditions pretty much for beach to bay for us on this Saturday, but again, rain chances will still be in the picture throughout courses of the morning and heading towards the afternoon. By the time we head towards your Sunday, that's when that drier air is going to arrive, so we'll be looking at mostly sunny skies, temperatures increasing towards the lower 90s, and again, heat danger that will become an issue for us instead of rainfall as we look head towards next week.
Now, 6 things to know before you go.
All right, folks, the 6 things that you need to know before heading out the door. A federal appeals court has ruled that President Donald Trump's tariffs can proceed.
Yeah, that reverses a ruling from the Court of International Trade that blocked the tariffs. The appeals court said the president can levy tariffs using the emergency powers he declared earlier this year. However, the appeals court also ordered the government and those challenging the tariffs to provide written arguments on whether the levies should be blocked. Those arguments must be filed early next month.
Well, it is a big weekend starting today for Coastal Bend seniors. Ceremonies will take place, graduating ceremonies that is, over the next 2 days. Miller High School's graduation is today at 10 a.m. Moody High School's graduation is at 2. Carroll will finish the day with a ceremony at 6. Then on Saturday, graduation starts at 10 a.m. for Ray High School, followed by King High School at 2, and Veterans Memorial High School seniors graduate at 6 p.m. Again, all these ceremonies are being held over at the American Bank Center.
Packet pickup for the 48th annual Beach to Bay Relay is today. It will be from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. at Texas A&M Corpus Christi Dugan Wellness Center. Now, this is the only day to get your bibs. Team captains, team and bib numbers are available online at beachtobayrelay.com. The race starts at 7 a.m. tomorrow morning on the beach and ends at the Water's Edge Park.
And starting next week, the Dr. Garcia Library will switch to summer operating hours. The library will be open on Mondays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tuesday through Thursday. And again, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. Friday and Saturday. The library will be open from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and closed on Sundays. Got all that? Well, the summer hours start Monday, June 2nd and run through Sunday, August 10th.
For the first time, the city of Kingsville is partnering up with Wreaths Across America. It's an organization that holds a nationwide ceremony in December by laying wreaths on grave sites of veterans. Kingsville will receive 8 wreaths and flags for the ceremony. More than 2.7 million wreaths will be laid at veterans' grave sites nationwide this December.
It is a big day for the Calallen girls softball team as they get ready for the UIL championship round. The girls got a big send-off on Thursday. This is the 3rd straight season that they made it to the championship round. The Lady Cats will take on the Andrews Mustangs in the UIL 4A Division I state championship game today at UT in Austin. First pitch is at 1 p.m. Good luck, ladies.
All right, now taking it outside, looking at our view from SPID, you can see a lot more folks hitting those roadways, getting their morning started on this Friday. But again, still not looking too busy. So if you have to be up early and heading out the door at this hour, looking at pretty easy driving conditions heading in both ways there on SPID at this moment. So going to take a look at those traffic maps to get a better idea what you can expect on other roadways throughout the coastal bend. Here in Portland, heading towards the Harbor Bridge in both directions from the Corpus Christi area, looking at easy driving conditions right now with no traffic issues. Same thing as we head towards downtown, Ocean Drive down to SPID and Saratoga. No traffic issues or slowdowns on any of those 3 roadways. Moving on over to Flower Bluff, looking at pretty much the same conditions for the most part. All clear on Waldron Road and pretty much the same on Flower Brook Drive, just maybe one small pocket where you can see a bit of some median speed and more of a heavier slowdown right now, and for congestion as you start to approach the gate at NAS Corpus Christi. But then heading onto the JFK Causeway, going to from the island, pretty much all clear this morning on this Friday. That's it for Triport. More details of your forecast coming up.
Thank you, Julie. Appreciate it. Circle your calendars, folks, because June is a great month to do some shopping. It's all about tech gifts and tools for grads and for dads and those getting ready for a camping trip or a long hike. Scripps News Group consumer reporter John Matarese has a quick look at the best outdoor gear so you don't waste your money.
Mark your calendar because June is a great month to shop for gifts. From dads to grads, you'll find lots of sales right now. Plus, if you're planning your summer vacation, you'll find a lot of deals on camping and outdoor equipment too.
Here at Benchmark Outdoor Outfitters, the shelves are filled with summer outdoor gear.
I really like that jacket a lot.
And salesman Max Artbauer says they have great deals on everything from backpacks.
This is one of my absolute favorite things we have in the store.
To camping chairs.
This is the Moonlight reclining chair.
To those popular Yeti coolers.
We have the Yeti Tundra. This is their most classic cooler.
On a budget, he says cups like these Hydro Flasks or Nalgene's are perfect for summer.
It's just basic. It is $16. It's 32 ounces. It's the Hiker Classic.
Consumer Reports deals editor Samantha Gordon tells us June will bring lots of promotions on gifts for Father's Day and graduations, especially on tech products, power tools, lawn care equipment, and stereotypical dad gifts like ties and golf items.
There are special offers there because people are looking for those standard first thing that you think of when you think of a gift for dad items are going to be on sale. The more stereotypical the item is, the more likely you're able to find a discount on it.
But she says if you're planning to buy bigger items, it's better to hold off.
Amazon has already teased that they will be holding another Prime Day in July, and with that, a lot of other retailers have big sales as well.
You can scan this QR code for the best deals tracked by Consumer Reports. Back at Benchmark, Max Artbauer says you'll find the best selection of the year for outdoor gear during June.
There's no better time than this month for sure.
And that way you don't waste your money. John Matarese, Scripps News Group.
Now here's a look at what's trending. Starbucks customers will soon see a major change to the coffee chain's loyalty program. Starting June 24th, Starbucks will eliminate the 25-star bonus for customers in the effort to boost profits. The change will apply to those who bring in a personal or usable cup for drink orders. A Starbucks spokesperson says customers will instead earn double stars on their entire order. The latest change means that anyone ordering just a drink will get fewer stars. I don't have the app, so.
I have the app. That hurts my heart.
Oh, no, not the coffee.
Is that a big change for you? Because since we don't own the app?
That's significant enough to me because those stars add up quickly, and like it can take, especially for me, because I usually go for my lunch break, so that helps me out with either covering my drink or covering like if I get like avocado spread to go with like any meal I get.
True.
That makes sense.
It adds up kind of fast. So boo, Starbucks. Anyway.
I'm so sorry.
For those of you that like those flavored drinks, I mean, we are a huge fan, and I know Texas, lovers will love it too. The HEB brand of coffee, the beans and the grounds. They are delicious.
What's the brand again?
Cafe
Ole?
HEB's brand, Cafe Ole.
Yeah.
The DFW is the best flavor in my opinion.
I gotta try.
Yeah.
I never heard. Okay. You know what? I need to share this very quick. I think you guys know I never was a coffee drinker when I first got to Corpus, but now Zuleika Soler, our meteorologist for Caja, she loves coffee, like she has to have it every day, and I think her gift to me now at this point has made me a slight coffee addict at this point.
Oh my goodness.
Here's a great gift, an addiction.
Yeah, that sounds so bad. But on that front, I will try that coffee you guys are mentioning.
Yeah.
Now, if you're addicted to that sunshine, sadly, I don't have that for you in the forecast today. We will be looking at mostly cloudy conditions in store on this Friday under now muggy conditions starting out this morning on this Friday. Looking at our current temperatures and feel like temperatures across the area, we can see we're mostly sitting towards the upper 70s, maybe the low 80s for areas that are along the coast, like over in Port Aransas and Rockport, currently sitting at 81 and 80 degrees there respectively. Right now, air temperatures and feel like temperatures are still ranging pretty closely, but we will will start to see that separation by the time we head towards this afternoon. Now taking a look at our Chris 6 neighborhood weather network, moving on our temperatures towards our other neighborhoods like Fulton. We can see those temperatures mostly sitting towards those lower 80s. Of course, that makes sense for areas that are a little bit more closer towards the coast. Same thing over in Flower Bluff, seeing those temperatures also ranging towards those lower 80s, but all of us will be reaching the 80s and then well beyond that as we head towards this afternoon. Now, what does this all mean for your dog walking forecast? We'll get into that in just a few more moments. First, let's go ahead and introduce our star. We have Ling Ling Bailey here, who looks to be ready for maybe a mixture of some cloud cover and maybe some sunny skies for their dog walk. Sadly for Ling Ling, you'll be looking at more of a cloudy dog walk if you plan on heading out at any time today on this Friday. Those clouds will be a staple in our forecast, maybe small glimpses here and there of some sunshine if we're lucky. Now, temperatures are still going to increase either way, getting up there towards those mid 80s by 10 o'clock this morning and upper 80s approaching the lower 90s by lunchtime. Wind speeds will be very light throughout the course of our day, barely making it to around 10-mile-an-hour wind speeds by the time we head towards this afternoon. Feel like temperatures will also be in the rise thanks to that moisture and humidity that's going to increase today and extend towards this upcoming weekend. So we'll see today, feel like temperatures reaching towards the triple digits between 2 and 4 o'clock, then decreasing towards the lower 90s as we look ahead towards this evening. So we'll be in for a bit of a muggy and sticky evening conditions here ahead for us tonight and looking ahead towards your Saturday morning. So overall, looking at our afternoon high temperature of 91 degrees here in Corpus Christi under mostly cloudy skies. Can also see a chance to see some shower activity later on this afternoon, late afternoon hours that will extend towards this upcoming weekend, at least for the first part of your Saturday. Isolated showers at best, really looking ahead towards the overnight towards your Saturday. So again, showers are not going to be super likely, but just because of the extra plume of moisture and humidity that's in the area, it's going to add towards that ahead for us for this upcoming weekend. Now look at your 7-day forecast. That's going to be over after our rain chances on Saturday, giving us dry weather and heat and humidity next week.
Thanks so much, Julian. Appreciate it. Thank you for tuning in, guys. Hope you have a great weekend. We'll see you later.
Bye.